Hey guys, so this is the Kiwi Ears Canter, a pair of hybrid in-ear monitors from Kiwi Ears, a beloved brand that comes with some very nice in-ear monitors. This hybrid in-ear monitor has kind of a weird or unique configuration, and I'll talk about that. So this retails for around $100 or around 8,300 rupees in India. So let's talk about what makes it great and a few things that are definitely worth improving. First things first, we have to do the unboxing. So it comes in a typical package, nothing too fancy here. Sliding off the outer cover, we get this box inside which we get some paperwork. You get 9 sets of different size silicone ear tips. You get the oxygen-free copper cable that has 2-pin connectors on one end, and on the other end you have a 3.5mm stereo jack. You get a branded hard carrying case to carry these in-ear monitors in, and of course you get the Kiwi Ears Canter hybrid in-ear monitors themselves. Okay, now as for the specs of the Kiwi Ears Canter, so because these are hybrid in-ear monitors, that means that they pack at least 2 types of drivers packed inside. So for the Canter, it packs a single dynamic driver coupled with 2 planar magnetic drivers inside, which is kind of a unique or weird setup. Now this has an impedance of 14 ohms, so obviously these are really low impedance in your monitors. However, if you want the best audio quality possible, you know the drill. I always recommend that you do invest in a portable DAC. Nothing too fancy or expensive, just something that can power these and make sure that these perform to their full potential without leaving anything in the tank. And as always, the one that I personally use will be linked in the description below. Now, as for the appearance, this is where I feel that Kiwi Ears has gone a bit bland. I mean, some might enjoy this appearance. It's very slick and stealthy, nothing really going on. I find it very bland and boring. It's just got these bold embossed lines with the Kiwi Ears logo on the metal faceplate, which feels good by the way, but in terms of appearance, it just looks too muted. And again, this is just my personal opinion. Now on the other side, you have high quality resin, which was very ergonomic as well because it fit my tiny ears quite well, and even for long listening sessions, I had no ear fatigue. Now the cable quality is where I have one of my complaints because it feels cheap. It doesn't feel very high quality, kind of feels flimsy, and it doesn't give me the assurance that it's going to last for years and years to come with daily wear and tear. However, because these are replaceable cables, as with most in-ear monitors, you can always get a new pair or upgrade your cables if that's what you need. Okay, now let's talk about the main criteria, which is the audio quality. How did these perform in my testing? Now, if you're an existing viewer, you already know that I judge these in-ear monitors based on how they produce the 3 major frequencies that broadly make up any sound that you hear: the highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs or the treble response, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Starting off with the highs or the treble response, the highs sound very clean, rich, and airy. The technicalities are rendered with ease, packing just the right amount of detail retention without going overboard and sounding over-sharpened. There was no noticeable sibilance even at max volume, and the spacing between instruments that fall into the higher frequency range were also well spaced out. Now, having said that, even though there is no audible sibilance at really high volumes, I would still suggest that for the treble sensitive individuals out there, you keep the volume to around 75% so that you get the most amount of detail without them sounding too sparkly at times. What you really enjoy about the instruments, especially snares and cymbals, is that they sound very natural and organic. So overall, the treble response at the highs sounded rich and balanced. Next up, we have the mid frequencies where the vocals are. Now the vocals sound airy and rich with a little extra emphasis on the upper mids, and that's not a bad thing. The vocals had body, and for the most part they sounded neutral and organic. Stringed instruments sounded clean, rich, and packed with detail. They were well spaced from one another and did not overlap with the vocals, so there was no clutter. Male and female vocals sounded very neutral, balanced, without any sense of hollowness, and I would say that for these in-ear monitors particularly, it was the vocals that are a real joy to listen to because of how much detail it has, how much body it has, and overall how organic it sounds. And finally, we get to the low end or the bass response. Now the low end on these are mid-bass heavy, so you get a substantial amount of the mid-bass slam. Now, while the low end was sufficiently thick and punchy, I felt that it lacks a bit of texture that would have made it sound richer. Now, because these house microplanar magnetic drivers, so you obviously get a sense of the sub-low rumble depending on the track, but they are not quite as deep and as rumbly, as I would say, compared to another in-ear monitor that has larger planar magnetic drivers. So it is there, but you will definitely be left wanting for a bit more rumble from the sub-lows. But what I really enjoyed was the lack of distortion at any given volume. Whether it's maximum volume or medium, you get the same tight, round, undistorted bass response that really adds a whole new layer of depth to the track you're listening to, and that is something I really appreciated on the Kiwi Ear Scanta. But overall, I found that the low end beautifully complements any track that you're listening to without going overboard and cannibalizing on the other two frequencies. So it really does a good job of giving you a very balanced bass response. Now, I obviously wouldn't recommend these to a bass head because for them, it's quantity over quality for most. So this gives you quality bass. A very balanced approach which adds a nice layer to the track you're listening to without really exaggerating its presence. Now the soundstage is sufficiently wide, giving you a good idea of the location of instruments in the tracks that you're listening to, so the imaging is very nice and it can also be recommended for gamers. So just to summarize, I would say that the Kiwi Ear Scanta offers you a very balanced sound response. It doesn't go overboard with any particular frequency. However, vocals sound beautiful on these, very easy on the ears, and it's what sounds the most organic and neutral, and it's beautifully complemented by a very nice tight bass response and sparkly highs that also are not sibilant, so long as you're not really treble sensitive or you don't go max volume all the time, every time. I can recommend these to a beginner audiophile who has the budget and wants to start off with something that is a balance of all three frequencies, or for a seasoned listener who wants to experiment with a planar magnetic driver with a hybrid setup. The Kiwi Ear Scanta would definitely be something that could be in your arsenal. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of the Kiwi Ear Scanta. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any questions regarding this, do hit me up in the comment section below. As always, the link to this product and other in-ear monitors will be in the description below, and I would really appreciate if you use those links to make your purchase. It will never ever cost you anything extra, but you guys will be helping me run this channel and I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video with your friends, and as always, I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.